Today is Friday, August 30th. We'll tell you how the presidential campaigns are responding to recent criticism, like that Vice President Harris flip-flops on the issues, or that former President Trump broke the rules at Arlington National Cemetery. Also, everything you need to know about Labor Day weekend, from the history to the travel forecast to the sales. Plus, a highly criticized program for migrants is starting up again. Oregon is reversing course on a first-of-its-kind drug law. And a baseball star's dog is now going viral for his own skills on the diamond. Those stories and even more news to know in today's episode. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Vice President Kamala Harris explained how she's changed her mind over the years during her first in-depth interview since launching her presidential campaign. It comes as many of Harris's critics call her a flip-flopper, accusing her of changing her policy positions to whatever suits her in the moment. Well, when Harris sat down with CNN this week, she insisted her values have not changed, but some of her stances have. For example, back in 2020, Harris was in favor of banning fracking, which many environmentalists still push for. But now she says, as president, she will not ban fracking. The vice president clarified, saying she's still all for efforts to slow climate change, just pointed out other ways to reach that goal. Also in the interview, Harris promised she would be a president for all Americans and would even appoint a Republican to her cabinet if she wins the White House. Former President Donald Trump criticized her interview performance online, saying she rambled incoherently, which is the same criticism Harris's team has leveled against him recently. This all comes ahead of another big weekend for both presidential campaigns in battleground states. Team Harris will go from Georgia to Michigan and then Pennsylvania on Labor Day. Former President Trump is going from Wisconsin to Pennsylvania today. Fallout is still growing from former President Trump's recent visit to Arlington National Cemetery. Remember, we told you yesterday, this all started when a cemetery worker confronted Trump's team to enforce rules against photography around certain grave sites. What happened next depends on who you ask. The U.S. Army put out a statement about the incident yesterday, saying a member of Trump's team physically pushed the worker aside. The Army called the whole thing unfortunate and added it's also unfortunate that the worker's professionalism has been attacked. A Trump campaign spokesperson accused the employee of suffering from a mental health episode and having Trump derangement syndrome. Another called her despicable, saying she's spreading lies and dishonoring the men and women in the armed forces. Plus, Trump's team pointed out it had permission for a photographer to be there, and the loved ones of a fallen service member confirmed they said it was okay. But the cemetery says families don't have the power to change the rules, and that the Defense Department had already communicated those rules to Trump's staff. The Trump campaign says it has video of the whole incident and is still thinking about whether to release it or not. To be continued. The FBI is facing some serious criticism for mishandling child sex abuse cases. These findings come even though the Bureau promised to make changes in the wake of another scandal, when it was found agents ignored concerns about former Dr. Larry Nassar sexually assaulting young elite gymnasts. Well, years have gone by since that. But yesterday, the Justice Department's internal watchdog put out a report saying the FBI is still making the same kinds of mistakes. Specifically, it says agents have been slow to respond to reports of children being assaulted, failed to follow up on important leads or tell other agencies about them, and neglected to offer resources to victims. Sadly, the report pointed out times when the FBI basically allowed sex offenders to abuse children for many months by doing nothing. The report noted the teams responsible for handling sex crimes investigations have been understaffed and overwhelmed with high caseloads. Still, the FBI responded by promising to take the report seriously and work quickly to correct the issues. A U.S. migration program that got shut down over fraud concerns is now coming back. Now, this is a program that's allowed hundreds of thousands of people from Venezuela, Cuba, Haiti, and Nicaragua to enter the U.S. legally and get work permits for 2 years. But there are conditions. They have to be vetted and have a sponsor in the U.S. who can financially support them. Well, the program was suspended last month when a report found more than 100,000 applicants were supported by just over 3,000 sponsors. Critics of the program said large numbers of migrants sponsored by just a few people could point to human trafficking. So their applications were red flagged for potential fraud and others were put on hold. Now, the program is getting going again, but the sponsors will be more scrutinized. Some Republicans still criticize the program, though, as a way to get around immigration laws without addressing the problem directly, and as just a political move to keep the number of illegal border crossings down. Just last month, Border Patrol agents recorded the fewest number of illegal migrant crossings on the southern border since 2021. Labor Day weekend is upon us. That means a lot of different things to Americans. For many, it's a chance to sneak in one final summer getaway, barbecue, or pool visit before fall gets here. But officially, the holiday is about celebrating the hard-won achievements of America's labor movement. And it's a recognition of what workers have contributed to the country. It started at the height of the Industrial Revolution, when labor unions and activists advocated for better treatment for workers. Even then, Labor Day was meant to celebrate those fighting the good fight. Expect to see parades, parties, and plenty of speeches from elected officials, politicians, and community leaders. And of course, lots and lots of travel. In fact, this Labor Day weekend is expected to be one of the busiest in travel history. TSA expects to screen more than 17 million people at American airports this weekend, and highways are expected to be crowded with road trippers. Officials expect today to be the peak travel day, whether you're flying or driving. All right, we have even more news for you still coming up. But first, I want to take a moment to talk about our sponsor, Ibata. It's that time of year for parents and students alike. It's back to school season. And I know this time can be a bit stressful and it gets expensive. But here's the thing. With Ibata, you don't need to stress about the cost. You can get cash back on all your purchases. Yep, Ibata is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. You can earn on hundreds of items from school and office supplies to groceries to clothes, even toys. In fact, the average Ibata user earns $256 per year, which, could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip or flight that you've been eyeing. Simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. And right now, Ibata is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibata by using the code NEWSWORTHY when you register. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibata app to start earning cash back and use code NEWSWORTHY. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code NEWSWORTHY. Now back to the news. Americans are getting ready to shop this Labor Day weekend. Like other holidays on the calendar, Labor Day and the unofficial end of summer give retailers an excuse to cut prices and unload inventory. You can find sales at major brands like Target, Home Depot, and JCPenney, among many, many others. Retail experts say the best deals are usually on summer items, think grills, pool toys, and so on, that fewer people want now. You can also usually find warm weather clothes and accessories at a heavy discount. You can also find big-ticket items like appliances and mattresses for less than usual. Opinion research group Civic Science says more Americans this year plan to spend money on sales compared to the year before. A major Listeria outbreak we told you about last month has become the largest outbreak in more than a decade. 9 people have now died and nearly 60 have gotten sick from boar's head deli meats. Newly released records from the USDA show the plant that produced the meats had been cited for dozens of health violations in the previous year. And the violations were pretty gross. Things like mold and mildew around an employee hand-washing sink, leftover meat on equipment, and insects near food. The Virginia plant has been shut down until further notice. Boar's Head has recalled more than 7 million pounds of meat products due to this outbreak. Some have sell-by dates as late as October 17th, so it's possible some people still have recalled products in their refrigerators, and it's important they throw them away immediately. To see more about exactly what's been recalled, we have a link in today's episode notes. Oregon's experimental approach to handling the state's drug problem has come to an end. It was just 3 years ago that Oregon became the first state in the U.S. to decriminalize having small amounts of illegal drugs like cocaine, heroin, and meth. But now they're being recriminalized. Possession will once again become a misdemeanor, punishable by jail time. The goal is still to send those caught with drugs to programs designed to treat addiction. Proponents of recriminalization say a stronger deterrent is needed to stop opioid deaths and public drug use. But opponents say addicts are much more likely to overdose if they spend time in jail, and that the state never implemented the original ballot measure in a workable way. Either way, the change goes into effect this Sunday, September 1st. 2 of the biggest names in artificial intelligence have agreed to share updates with the federal government. The creator of ChatGPT, OpenAI, and the creator of Claude, Anthropic, both said they would give their models to the U.S. Artificial Intelligence Safety Institute before releasing them to the public. This way, the institute will have a chance to research, test, and evaluate new models' abilities and potential risks. The institute was established by President Biden's executive order on AI. It turns out the record-breaking MLB player Shohei Ohtani is not the only member of his family who can pitch. Before a game against the Baltimore Orioles this week, his dog threw out the first pitch, sort of. Otani placed a baseball on the pitcher's mound, then ran behind the plate and called to his dog, Decoy. The dog seemed to know what to do. He grabbed the ball in his mouth, delivered it to home plate, and gave his owner a high five, all while wearing a custom Dodgers jersey. This is apparently something Otani and Decoy have been working on for weeks. Dodger Stadium was already packed since the team announced the first 40,000 fans to arrive would receive a bobblehead of Otani holding Decoy, and they've both built a cult following over the past 9 months. Not to be outdone, Otani went on to hit a home run and steal 2 bases, helping the Dodgers secure a win. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Feel Good Friday, when we bring you one extra feel-good or positive news story before the weekend. But first, a quick break for our sponsor. I'm guessing many of us have those certain items in our closet that we pick over everything else, right? For me, that's definitely Honeylove's Legging 2.0. They are stylish, comfortable, have great shaping, they're super soft with a cooling material, and they're convenient with pockets on the sides. Whether I'm working from home, working out, or running around town with my toddler, Honeylove's Legging 2.0 are my go-to. And when it comes to shapewear and other essentials, I choose Honeylove every time as well. In fact, they have incredibly comfortable shapewear, tanks, bras, leggings, and more for everyday support or for an upcoming special event. Our executive producer agrees, and that's the reason she chose Honeylove shapewear on her wedding day. Honeylove is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras, leggings, and more on the market and save 20% at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/newsworthy to find your perfect fit. After your purchase, they ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with bras, leggings, shapewear, and more that empower your lifestyle of flexibility. Okay, now back to Feel Good Friday. So what if a game could change the world? That's the idea behind a campaign titled, fittingly, Game to Change the World. It's a video game based on collaborative challenges that encourage kids to make decisions to improve the game universe. The hope is the collaborative missions show kids the value of acting on behalf of the greater good in the real world as well. And as a bonus, in-app purchase proceeds will be donated to charity. It helps that the game is Roblox, which is already incredibly popular with kids. Nickelodeon is also providing instructional kits that tell kids how to start their own charitable work in real life. The game will be available on the Roblox platform through September 20th. Well, thank you so much for joining us as part of your daily routine. A quick note, we will not have an episode on Monday due to Labor Day, but in honor of the holiday, we'll be back tomorrow with a deep dive into current work trends, from the state of the job market today, to what types of jobs are losing and gaining popularity, to the role of AI, and so much more. That's tomorrow's special edition Saturday episode. Also, as of this week, Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to episodes of The Newsworthy ad-free in the Wondery app. Or support our show and get ad-free episodes by becoming a Newsworthy Insider at thenewsworthy.com/insider. Again, we'll be back tomorrow, and then we've got all the news you need to know to start your week on Tuesday. Until then, have a great holiday weekend.